Hi guys. In the last video I said I'd give you a review on my thoughts on the Tempest. I didn't include it because the video was getting a bit long, so this is my thoughts on the Tempest coming in now. Whether they concur with what everyone else thinks or not, I don't know, doesn't matter. It's it's my viewpoint, and it's my experience as it's happened since I've had the Tempest. But bear in mind, I was a bit salty because I was cold and I'd had enough. So enjoy. Right guys, that's the last bubble off on the Tempest done for a minute. Let's get to the nitty gritty of it. Do they work? Yes they do, and they do well. Are they worth 250 quid? No. Would I pay 250 quid? No. I didn't pay 250 quid for that. I bought it a couple months old for 150 quid. At that price bracket, yeah, it's all right. It's it's a good bit of kit. I would never pay 250 quid for that. And there are very good reasons why. Firstly, if I bought it, I wouldn't want these. As everybody moans, they are junk. Secondly, I mean, this is partially because I bought it used, obviously. Everything was all solvent welded in already. My personal view is, if I'd bought this new, I wouldn't have used these at all. I'd have solvent welded pipe into here, and then I would have gone with like ball valves or had temporary fittings so I can play with this and get it mounted over a period of time to get it how exactly I want it, to make life easy. And the thing is, you're always changing your setups, and this is a pretty final thing. Once it's in there, it's in there. Now I can get new seals for this. This one's knackered. Am I going to bother? No, because they'll only last a couple of months, and then I'll be buying more new ones again. This tube is very, very thin. Very thin. If you go back a few videos, you'll see where I dropped it and it actually cracked. And it actually cracked the tube. For the money this costs, I would have expected it to have been twice as thick as it is. It is very, very thin, and if you press on it, you can deform it with your thumb. Perfectly good in holding the pressure and everything else, and the way it's glued in up there, perfectly fine. But for me, I would not have it as thin as that. I would have gone for a thicker tube. They work well. I use this purely as mechanical. Obviously, with it having K+ in there, you are getting biological. I don't aim for it to be biological, but regardless of what you're using it for, you are going to get a biofilm. So you might as well capitalise on that, which I did by dropping in some pure pond balls, just to help it along. Every little helps, so capitalise on what you've got. Gripe, another gripe. This, as I've just shown you, is all glued in. So if you do happen, and it's not the tidiest job on the glue, I must admit. There you go, down there, you can't really see it. That's glued in. Anything happens, if you can't repair the tube with a bit of silicone or a bit of glue, that's it, knackered. And then finally, now this is probably my biggest gripe with this, is this. What an utter piece of junk. It's the biggest bugbear I have. Every time, or every couple of times I clean the Tempest, I have to take this off. Because of obviously grit and everything in the fish waste and everything that's going through the Tempest. This is so poorly designed. It's cheap. I shall try and show you down the end, which is not going to happen, so I shall put a light on. Right, now, I'm not sure you can see, but in the end of that, you can see where the ball valve, if I can get it to focus, you can see where there's a, almost, oh, there you go, it's a bit better. You can see a channel in the valve, and you can see all the grit and everything that's collecting around it and in it. So when your Tempest is working fine, grit and stuff drops into that channel. And then when you have to open it, you can feel it all gronching and grinding. And then when you come to, and you can see the wear and the damage it's actually doing to the valve, all because it all collects in there. And it's a nightmare. Every 2 or 3 times I have to take this off and wash this out to get rid of this grit. And it's a pain in the ass. Why, when they made this, didn't they make that solid? It can only be for cost. And the other drawback to it is when that grit and crap is in that channel, you can't close that properly and it drips. So just when you think you've cleaned your Tempest, you've got to do another clean and take this off, and then go in the kitchen, blast it out under the tap, or even bang it if there's a lot of grit in there. And it is a royal pain. There you go, you can see the crap down in there now. It is a royal pain in the arse. And again, it can only be cost. You know, who could make this the cheapest for EA? So that's what you get. So that's my thoughts on it. Would I buy one 250 quid? Nope, absolutely not. If you could take it apart for cleaning or any maintenance you could do, or you could even if you could even replace the tube if you needed to, that would be a massive bonus, and it would almost make it worth the 250 quid. But the fact that you, once you crack it, you've cracked it, and you can't repair it, or you can't replace it even, that is just an absolute no for me. I will never ever buy a new one of these. Go make one. You can buy this tube, and you can buy it at I think it's something like 7mm thick, so it's at least twice as thick as this on the Tempest. You can buy this tube and you can make pretty much everything there for about £100. Then all you have to do is add your media and choose what valves you're going to use. So there is absolutely not a hope in hell that this thing is good value for money. It's value in the fact that it works, but to my mind, the valves are junk. All the valves are junk. All 3 valves are junk. It's a faff if you want to take the media out. These top bits, if they'd done these so that they could be screwed on and taken off, they could have had a solvent welded flange glued to this tube, and these could have been threaded, and the flange could have been threaded, and they could have been screwed on. Just that little detail, in my mind, would have changed my opinion on the whole thing. But with the negatives that go along with it, then no, I will never pay 250 quid for one of them. irrespective of the research and the engineering that's gone into it. They are easy. They do mean I don't get wet hands, but what good's that when you've got to take bits off every couple of cleans and clean them yourself? Utterly pointless. So on that note, I'll leave it with you, see what you think. Go build one. That's my advice. If you want a Tempest, go build one. I should point out the other thing in the Tempest favour is if you have not got an air source, then obviously it has the one-way valve on the bottom. It's a bit dark under there, but you can see it just about. Yeah, they're all right. They do their job. They bubble up nicely. When you fill in the Tempest, they seal it up. But they do drip. I put a bucket down there on the floor. You probably can't see that. They do drip occasionally, and again, it's cheap plastic. That's all it is. But it does do its job. It allows you to use these anywhere without need for an air pump. But if I was doing it, yeah, I'd have an air pump. Probably a bit more media as well. Slightly longer tube, more media. And then I think you'd be onto a winner. But on that note, I won't say go out and buy one. I'd say go out and make one. 100%. Go out and make one. And I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching.